Troy is going to come and do the reading, offer some words about the person who's going to receive our awards this year, and Mookie Lofty is going to be the person to give the award and give the hug. So, please come. Glasses on, I'm prepared. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, at the Peace Fair Planning Committee, put the final touches on today's program, Mookie and I were asked to be the presenters of the Peacemaker Award. And the Peacemaker Award this year goes to our friend Gary Lawless. Today we're here indeed on the day of the Peace Fair, the day when we honor Gary with this year's award. Thank you. For his presence and work in the larger community and for the example he set for the best in citizenship. Who is Gary? Gary is the owner, along with his partner, Beth Leonard, of one of Maine's few independent progressive bookstores, the Gulf of Maine bookstore. Gary is also a prolific poet, whose poetry you will hear in a few minutes. Gary is a mentor and supporter of poets and writers in Brunswick and beyond. Gary is a publisher. Gary is also an environmentalist, a person conscious of his responsibility toward the natural world in which all of us live. Gary and Beth are mindful caretakers of Chimney Farm in Nobleboro, which was the home of Maine poet Kate Barnes. Gary is an individualist, committed to independent thinking and action on behalf of peace, liberty, and justice. Gary is a mensch. He is a person, we know what that means, right? He is a person we honor and who honors us with his friendship and talents, which he generously shares with the many people he touches on a daily basis. Thank you, Gary.
You want the mic out of the way?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Real photo op. Okay. All right, smile, Gary. You're not on camera. Thank you.
They set me up. They told me I had to be here to read a poem after this presentation. So it's so wonderful to be among such a group of peers. Probably some of whom I've pissed off over the years, but that's good. That's kind of my role, you know. The ballot thing. We're recording this for Homeland Security. I've always felt that the real function of a bookstore is to build and support community, and this is the community we've always wanted to support. So it's nice to be here, and thank you for this. And I'm supposed to read a poem, so I guess I still do that. You know?
While Gary goes gets his poem, I want to tell a classic Gary Lawless story. We had a friend, Ethan Miller, scheduled to sing at 2 o'clock today. And for amazingly wonderful reasons, Ethan had to say no. So somehow, of course, Ethan, who lives in another part of the state, knows Gary, and Gary learned through Ethan that he wasn't going to be here. So when I happened to talk to Gary, he said, well, you know, Sid Kitchen is going to be in town, and Andrani is the connection, and if you call her, maybe. So, as always, you know, within an hour, Sid Kitchen was scheduled to come and replace Ethan Miller here at the Peace Fair because of Gary Lawless. That's a classic story. He connects us all and brings us a more richer world. So thank you, Gary.
Richer world. I'm also the capitalist on Main Street here. You should go see your Sid. Go hear him at 2 o'clock. Go hear him tonight in Bath at the Chocolate Church. And come back at 11. I have assembled a dozen poets. What is... All right. If you do that in the middle of a poem, it's screwed. We're going to have it between 11 and 12. We've got a dozen poets from the community who are going to come and share poetry with you too. So I'll just read this poem now. And Ethan was one of my students that when I taught at Bates for a couple of years before they discovered what a mistake that was. And at the end of every semester, I emailed all my students this poem. So it's a Mary Oliver poem, and it fits today. And the last two lines are really important today. The summer day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the grass, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? So that's the question really for all of us today. What is it you plan to do with your wild and precious life?
Can you read it again for us, please?
Margie! Really?
Yeah.
People don't like to sit through a lot of poetry.
Yeah, I
Margie.
know, but they need.
All right.
I need to hear it twice.
All right. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself up out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, the one who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Thank you.